Let's begin our example of the LP 2.1 discussion on sets. The first part of this, we are applying for information security, an example of encryption. And one of the elementary or basic encryption methods that's been around for years is what is called the Cipher. Basically, what ends up happening is in a given word or a collection of characters, you end up encrypting the original character by moving it in the sequence of letters. Typically, you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So that's our collection of standard 26 letters in the alphabet. But in essence, what you end up doing to encrypt a letter, an individual letter in a word, you move it to the right. So for example, character A, you move to B, then C. So you're moving it 2 characters to the right. Do the same thing for B. 2 characters to the right would be D, and so on. The kicker is once you get down to Y, after Z, there isn't another letter after Z. You have to roll it back to the first letter in the alphabet, which is A. Same deal for Z. There is no letter after Z, so to shift it 2 places, you end up going to the letter B. So here's the chart that we're going to use to analyze or encrypt each of the words. So for my example, let me get my pen here going. Okay, there we go. The 2 words for my example, and you will be doing 2 words inside your discussion forum as well. The 2 words that I'm going to utilize to analyze are the words union and the word zero. Okay, so for the word union, I'm going to list out U-N-I-O-N. Well, in my chart, if I come down here to U goes to W, N-O-P, I, notice in my chart, I goes to K, O goes to Q, and N goes to P. All right, so for the first set, I'm going to use the collection of these letters, but provide a distinct list for my first set. Notice the P's are duplicated. I only want to list out the letters uniquely. So I've got a W, I've got a P, I've got a K, and a Q. Notice I'm not going to list the P again because the P is already in my first set. Now for zero, I'm going to list out the individual letters Z, E, R, and O. As I made mention before, Z, there is no letter after Z if I'm going to the next letter. So I have to use B as in boy. So that ends up as B. E goes to G. R goes to T. And O goes to Q. So in this case, you'll notice that let's see, let me verify. Oh, not O on that one, I apologize. O goes to Q, but E goes to, yeah, I got it right, B, G, T, and Q. All right, so my resulting set on this one, there are no duplicate letters in the resulting one, so it's B, G, T, and Q. So for the first part of this, after you encrypt, part 1 is going to report back your encrypted set. So that's going to be part 1 of the process. Part 2, for your second word, that's what you would end up reporting back if your word was union and zero respectively. So now what we end up doing, now that we've got our 2 sets, the remaining part of this discussion asks us to identify the union as well as the intersection of 2 sets. Let's go ahead and deal with the union first. For the union, that is our OR condition. It has to exist in my first set or my second set. And again, when I do the union, I'm going to report back a distinct list of the elements in that given set. So for the union, you'll notice the easiest way to start out a union of 2 sets would be a W, P, K, and Q, because you're going to list everything that was in the first set. For the second set, and I need to erase here because I'm not done with the set yet. There we go. Okay, so for the second piece, I'm going to list it if it wasn't already in the set. So notice B as in boy. I'm going to list that guy out because it wasn't in my resulting set. G as in George. I'm going to list that out. T as in Tom. I'm going to list that out. And Q, notice, is already in there, so I'm not going to list it again. So the union ends up to be W as in Walter, P as in Paul, K as in kitchen, Q as in query, B as in boy, G as in George, T as in Tom. Last part of the discussion is going to ask you to do the intersection between the two sets. The intersection is the AND condition. So I need to erase part of this. There we go. And here we go. All right, so for intersection, it's got to exist in the first set or the second, or excuse me, and the second set for it to be returned. So I go through, I need to erase one more time here. Get rid of those red marks. Okay. So for this guy right here, I look at W. Is W over here? It's not in my second set, so I don't return it. P as in Paul. Notice it's not in my second set. I don't return it. K as in kitchen, not over here, don't return it. The only one that is common between the first set and the second set is Q as in query. So the intersection of those two sets from the encrypted code would be the letter Q. Hope this helps in making your initial post for your discussion forum. Thank you.